I'm happy today. I'm gonna eat lunch while I do this. So, it's yogurt, but I can't show you. Otherwise, YouTube won't like me because it's a brand and I'm not allowed to show brands. So, alright, let's get down to business. Look. Have you guys read this before? It's a book called The Lost Hero. It's by, I think, the same person who did Percy Jackson. Haven't read it yet, but Emma says I should, so I'm working on it. I'm on page, oops, I have no idea what page I'm on. I lost it. Page 4, and I should probably reread it because I haven't read this book in like 2 weeks. That's when I started it. Okay, so I apologize for the I apologize for the camera quality. The other camera that I had last week that was really, really good got taken to Las Vegas on a trip. It should be back by the end of this week. So next week, the video should look a little better, higher quality kind of a thing. So, let's see. I got asked a question, actually several questions, and I'll try to get through all of them the best I can with, you know, I'm not sure how long you guys like these videos to be. I know they range from like 2 minutes to 10 minutes. It's kind of hard to put all my topics in a 2-minute vlog. So, let's see. Do I remember how the meds or the treatment made me feel? Yes, I do. Although I don't remember most of it till like I got older, when I was like 6 or 7 years old. That's when I actually started remembering all of it. Because when I was little, you know, you're a baby. I was only 18 months old when it all started. I didn't really remember it much then, but I definitely started remembering it as I got older. I can remember my mom and dad getting me video games, and I always knew if I was opening a brand new present or a new like toy or something that the people who were coming into the house were going to give me an IVIG in my arm. So I would get a present beforehand, so I would get distracted. Our toy closet is very full of stuff. I was kind of a spoiled child. But I do remember it. I remember it being like when I got it versus when after I got it. Because when I would get my IVIGs or my prednisone, it wasn't a big deal because I was distracted doing something else. I was playing or I was, you know, just kind of being a normal kid. But afterwards, when I got it, I would get sick, like flu-like symptoms. I remember lying on the couch and, you know, I wouldn't feel good. It would only last for a couple of days, and I can remember as a kid being told I had a cold, like a mini cold or something from my treatments. You know, it would last for about 2 days. It would feel like I got the flu. I mean, that's how I felt. It would last for about 2 days, and then, you know, I'd be bouncing off the walls again like a normal kid. Did it affect my taste buds? Yes. Textures, it definitely affected my taste buds because I hated any foods with weird textures, like applesauce or mashed potatoes with the lumps in them. I knew they were potatoes, the lumps were potatoes inside, but I always would psych myself out, and then I'd get like this gag reflex because it was just, I hated textures as a kid. It wasn't very good. I was a picky eater. I mean, I still am a picky eater. There's some things I will eat and there's some things I won't eat. For example, yogurt. For the longest time I hated yogurt, and that's simply because when I was doing my prednisone, it was liquid prednisone. So my mom would put it in like lemon yogurt and mix it up, and then I'd eat it that way. So for the longest time I didn't like yogurt. I still don't like textured yogurt. I mean, I can eat this yogurt. There's no like textures or nothing in it or anything in it. But I won't eat like liquid yogurt with strawberries inside of it or blueberries or stuff. It grosses me out and I can't eat that. It definitely, like, it did do weird things to my taste buds because I can remember eating grapes as a kid and I didn't like the skin on the grapes. So I would peel the skin off the grapes. I don't know if that's just me being weird or if that's part of the OMS, but I didn't like that, you know, that weird rough feeling on the outside of the grapes, so I would peel it off and then I'd just eat the inside. I don't mind it now, but I mean that was the same thing for everything. That was for apples, pears, you know, peach, or yeah. I didn't like the texture on the outside. So texture was a big deal to me. If it had two different types of textures in the same exact food, there was no way I was going to eat it as a kid. So yeah, it definitely affected my taste buds. Temperatures. I think you're asking if it affected my temperature? Well, that's an interesting question because I get asked this a lot and I really don't know how to answer it all the time. Because, my grandma, who passed away a few years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago, had, weird blood pressure, and so she would always be cold. I mean, her hands would be cold, her feet would be cold. She would wear turtlenecks in like 60, 70 degree weather because she was always cold, and she would have her thermostat all the way up to 70 degrees. So I don't know if it's a genetic thing or if it's an OMS thing for me, because I'm the exact same way. I am always cold. My hands are always cold, my feet are always cold. For Wisconsin, 60 degree weather is pretty warm. For me, it's not that warm at all. 60 degree weather is kind of like 40 or 50 degree weather. I do get cold very easily, but that being said, I hate being hot. Like, because when I get really warm, it's really hard for me to cool down fast enough for my body to like accept it. So I get very easily dehydrated, and I get very easily overtired if I'm hot. So, like, say it's like a 90 degree day and I'm outside for more than a half hour and I haven't drinking anything, I'll get really tired and just low on energy. Versus when I'm really cold, I'll be very normal and I'll do things. So I get cold very easily, but I absolutely hate getting warm. So I'm kind of picky there. That's kind of my temperature issue. I mean, it doesn't affect me or anything. It's weird. We joke around that I'm cold-blooded because I like being cold, but I hate being hot. But I'm always cold. So, if that makes any sense. Another thing, what about sleep issues now and when you were on treatment? I do not have sleep issues now, unless I have really bizarre dreams, and that's when I get really warm. If I get too hot, then I have, like, nightmares, and that's when I don't sleep well. So I try to keep my room cool. And, you know, that's kind of that weird situation again where I'm always cold, but I hate being hot. So, no, I don't have any sleep issues now. And I'm kind of a sloth, just saying, because I will sleep in till noon sometimes. But, you know, that being said, I don't go to bed till like 2 in the morning anyway because I'm a night owl. I don't really like going to sleep just because I am more awake at night anyway, so. I did have sleep issues when I was a kid. That's a big thing. My parents will tell you that I hated sleeping as a little kid. But they think, now they don't know this for sure, but they think the reason I had sleep issues as a kid was because my medicine would start kicking in at night. And so I would start to feel better and more alert and more normal. And so that's why I hated sleeping. I didn't take any sleep medicine for that because I know a lot of people ask, was your child on any sleep medicine when they were a kid if they had sleep issues? For me, no. For other kids, I think they are. I think that was just a personal option for us. I don't know. I was on so much medicine at the time. I think at that point my parents just decided, you know, we don't need any more medicine right now. She's already so, like, heavily medicated from her OMS. How they treated it, they would actually let me go to bed late at night. I probably wouldn't, as a kid, they'd probably let me stay up till 10:30, maybe 11. That way I would, you know, I'd feel better, but then I'd get tired and I'd actually go to sleep, and then I'd sleep in later. But that's for the sleep issues and stuff. So, that's kind of my video. It's kind of what I wanted to talk about. I hope that answered some of your questions. If you have follow-up questions, you know, feel free to ask. So I think that's it. Talked about how the treatments made me feel. I talked about how, it affected my tastes for different foods. I talked about how my temperature is affected and my sleep issues, which I don't have any now, but I did back then. You know, for sleeping, I think it's for everybody, but I think it really depends on what I've been doing that day. Like, so there'll be some nights when I will have a hard time falling asleep, but those are usually the nights when I spent hours and hours on the computer working and playing games. And I think, see, because I'm pretty sure caffeine stimulates your brain. And so when you have OMS, you're kind of naturally hyper when you have OMS because you kind of have that OCD that usually comes with it. So, when I'm on the computer for so long, it's hard for me to go to sleep. But usually if I remember enough to say, okay, it's 7 o'clock, I need to get off the computer for the rest of the night, I can fall asleep really easily. But that's my video, and there you go. So please make sure to subscribe. I think it's up here, but since the camera is going to be flipped, I'm pretty sure it's up here now. So make sure you subscribe and you leave a comment. Please give my video a thumbs up. That really, really helps me. Make sure you favorite if you like it enough and you want to watch it again. Alright, goodbye everyone. Love you. Mwah.